Think of it, all of you. So now it's the turn for Jesus to bless the wine and pass the cup for them to share. And we have three different wordings of what he says. So Matthew, according to Matthew, he said, "Drink of it, all of you, for this is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins." According to Mark, he said, "This is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many." And according to Luke, what he said is, "This cup is the New Testament in my blood, which is shed for you." So all of this share this idea about a new covenant, right? And the idea of the remission of sins for everybody. So I think that this must have been very shocking for the apostles, because showing the cup, calling it blood, talking about the forgiveness of sins and the covenant, they thought about Yom Kippur. So even though they were celebrating Pesach or the Passover, immediately, their minds were drawn to Yom Kippur. The blood, first of the bull, then of the ram, that would be poured, into the altar. That would be sprinkled into the Holy of Holies, in the Ark of the Covenant, and also it will be put into the horns in the altar. That representation, the horns have the representation of power. So, interesting, right? The bread synthesizing everything that has to do with Pesach, and now the blood representing the wine, representing the blood of Yom Kippur. One other difference between the bread and the wine is, like we were saying yesterday, that the bread each piece of the bread is unique, has its unique shape. So now the cup is the same cup for everybody, right? And that calls about unity, but also talks about that the plan is the same for everybody, right? The atonement is for everybody. There's no differences there. So interesting how Jesus simplified all these complex celebrations that they had once a year, every 6 months, into one very simple, portable ceremony that we call the sacrament. And since the bread represented the physical liberation, mostly from death, now the blood represented the liberation, like Jesus said, from sin, the spiritual liberation. So the two aspects, the first death, the physical death, and the second death, the immortality and the eternal life. So every time that we partake of this sacrament, we should reflect, I think, in all these symbolisms, right? It's not just about eating and drinking and thinking about superficially. It's about thinking about the physical sacrifice and the spiritual sacrifice that Jesus made for us. So, with this, I think we have all the pieces to connect tomorrow on Easter, that I hope it will explain why John, Peter, and James fell asleep in the Garden of Gethsemane. So hope to see you there.